It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Vinny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
What is going on, everybody? What is going on? Welcome into another episode of Cats Talk Wednesday. My name is Vinny Hardy. The homie Terry Brown had to work a little bit late, so he's going to be on here in just a few minutes. We got another fun show for everybody. Summertime, we still talking sports. We still got stuff to talk about. Get some random stuff in there too. But this episode, we're going to start off right with a guest right off the bat here in just a second. Former UK baseball coach, Keith Madison, friend of the show, is going to hop on here with us and chop it up. We'll talk some baseball, but we'll talk some other stuff with Coach Madison as well, because he's well versed on all things UK sports and UK athletics. And as a matter of fact, he is backstage right now, because y'all know we're on Roku now, and y'all can watch us or listen to us on Anchor, however you want to do it. And last time Coach was on, and he'll back me up on this, he said, when you have me on next time, let's talk some other stuff besides baseball. So I'm going to try to make sure I take that coaching and, don't have to tell me more than once. So I'll try to remember what Coach says. We'll bring him in right here, right now. Former UK baseball coach Keith Madison back here on Cats Talk Wednesday with us. Coach, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Can't complain. How's your summer going?
Going great, man. I went to the College World Series earlier this summer and had a great time out there with some of my buddies. And gosh, I don't know, just been doing the typical summer things, cooking out a lot, visiting grandkids, having a great summer.
Can't beat that. Now, you might have heard me saying last time you were on, you were like, hey, you got to get me on and talk some other stuff besides baseball. You kind of said, hey, let's step out of the box a little bit. I don't know if you remember telling me that or not, but
yeah, but man, I don't know much about anything except baseball, so I probably stuck my foot in my mouth. But let's give it a try.
Well, we'll do that. We'll kind of go through the football schedule and get your thoughts on what you think the football team will do this year. Okay. Kind of do that. I'm not going to get too crazy. I think it's something you still know about, but
a little bit. I definitely watch it, man. I love watching college football. I think it's one of the greatest things to watch, and I get caught up. I watch it all day on Saturday, and my wife thinks I'm crazy. She's how could you watch that much football? She says Kentucky's not even playing. I just love it. It's especially SEC football.
Yeah, that's even though the other ones you can see the drop when it's the other conferences, but we still watch them anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
Those West Coast games come on and we go to sleep to whoever, Idaho and Colorado State or Arizona, whoever's out there. Because it's all from noon till midnight. It's just
Boise State on the blue turf.
Yeah, that's right. It sure is. But yeah, so I was just we're getting close. We're in that part of summer where we're still doing a lot of stuff, but now they're about to go to fall camp, and it's just end of next month they'll actually be playing for real once they get the camps and stuff over with. So everybody can kind of taste it now. That excitement's building for it. High school will be starting up the end of next month too, so it's almost here.
Yeah, man. We had all that really hot weather, and I felt sorry for those high school kids out there practicing in that hot weather. But I think most coaches are doing a great job of keeping those kids hydrated and practicing in the morning and at night. So I'm sure they take care of them. But it's been a hot summer for football practice, that's for sure.
It sure has. Now, did you try your hand at football too?
I would have, because I love football, but my high school did not even have a football program.
Wow. Okay. At Edmonson County?
Yeah, Edmonson County.
Oh man.
Yeah, this was they I think they started playing football in the mid-'70s.
Okay.
I've always wondered what position I would have played. I had a good arm in baseball, but I'm not sure that always translates to football. I don't know if I'd have played quarterback. I ran pretty good, so possibly running back. I don't know, but I love playing football with my buddies, and we played tackle football without pads, just because. How kids are. You watch it on TV, you go out and play football. You watch wrestling on TV, you go out and wrestle.
That's right. So that's proof that we were very impressionable. We went out and tried. The first thing we saw, we went out and tried every time.
Exactly. I was outside all the time. I remember we had my mother gave us an old quilt. Everybody in Kentucky's got quilts. Your mom and your grandmothers, they quilt all the time. And so we would put a quilt down, and that would be our wrestling mat. And we had some great times doing that. And, occasionally we would lose our temper, but not very often. It was usually all fun, but, boys can get rough, but
yeah.
So everything that was on television, man, I watched it, and then I would go out and do it. My brother and I would, we'd watch the Saturday game of the week, the baseball game, and that's the only baseball you could see back in those days. I know you probably remember your dad talking about stuff like that. You get to see one game a week, and we were glued to the television. As soon as that game was over, we'd be out playing baseball. And I think I'm thankful I had an older brother that I could do that with, because we were always playing something. And we had some boys that lived around us, and we were always playing football, basketball, baseball, whatever sport was in season. We were outside just playing at pickup games on our own.
Yeah. And you see a move or somebody do something, oh, let me try that when we go outside. Oh,
that's how you learn, isn't it? I mean, I'd watch those guys play basketball and watch the NBA games and the college games, and I would always go out and try to emulate those guys.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then football, you see some defensive end use a swim move on the lineman and get a sack, or maybe he bull rushes this time. Whatever he's doing, not to that level, but let me go ahead and try it and see if it'll work.
Exactly.
And if you're playing basketball, when you're 13, 14, just to that age where maybe the grown men start to let you play, you still got to prove yourself, and you can't go in and be ball hogging. You just got to rebound and defend. But you go and try a move on a grown man, and it doesn't really work because he's seen it and stuff. Well, if you go back to the drawing board and try something, those days at the playground and stuff.
That's right. That reminds me of when I first started coaching at Kentucky. My office was most of the time it was in Memorial Coliseum, and our big deal every day, we'd play basketball at lunchtime. And Cliff Hagan was the athletic director, and he was still in pretty good shape then. I don't know how old he is now. He's still in good shape. He plays tennis all the time. But Cliff would always pick me to be on his team because I would always pass him the ball because I wanted to raise. And so he always wanted to be on his team. But I learned so much watching him and all the subtle moves that he had, because in the NBA, he was always an undersized big man. And so he had all those subtle moves with the forearm and wrapping a little bit. And I would just watch him go against our wrestling coach, Fletcher Carr. And Fletcher was a strong dude. And it was always fun playing lunchtime basketball with those guys. But it was almost like, the games that we played, with our buddies. But, you got your boss playing on your team. So you got to get him the ball, right?
Yeah, you got to play the long game and get your.
It's sort of like Charles Barkley, hey, the play is this: always pass the ball to me.
That's right. Exactly, man. And it makes me too think about just lost Mike Pratt a few weeks ago. And how sad that was. But he was 6'3", 6'4". He was undersized, kind of playing a forward, in the SEC and getting all those rebounds and having to muscle and bang against bigger guys the same way Cliff did.
No doubt about it. And Mike, it's been talked about a lot recently, but he didn't get the attention that that he should have gotten, because Big Dan Issel was such an incredible star.
Mm-hmm.
But Mike Pratt was a great player, a great teammate. He was. I don't see players do it as much anymore, but he was great at using the board. He would bank a shot from 15 feet out, on the wing, and you don't see guys do that much anymore. No. But he had that down to a science, and I remember watching him do that, and also out rebound guys that were 2, 3, 4, 5 inches taller than him, because for one thing, he wanted the ball. He was like Big O,
Yeah.
He wanted the ball, and if you're a good athlete and you want the ball, you could be a great rebounder.
That's for sure, and carving out that space, and
yes,
he was strong too. Even I didn't really get to cover some games and kind of met him. In his late 60s, you could still, by just the way he carried himself, you could tell this guy in his day, this guy was something else. Just the big strength and that he still had with him. So
yeah, he had to. He was strong. He had the big hands, which obviously helped him in basketball. But he was a tremendous baseball fan. We used to go to the Reds games together, and always Dennis Emery and I always invited him to go with us, because I'd love to hear those stories of back in the day, when he played. And but he always wanted to talk about being from Dayton and playing baseball against Mike Schmidt and Yeager, the catcher for the Dodgers, all those great players from the Dayton area that went on to be Major League Baseball players. That's what he wanted to talk about. He was a huge baseball fan. He was just a sports fan, whatever was sports being played at the time, he was into it.
And he just rubbed shoulders and interacted and grew up with just a who's who of athletes in his life.
Yeah, that's right. And he was the kind of guy that could talk to anybody. He felt comfortable talking to the governor, or he felt comfortable talking to just a fan, that's sitting next to him at a baseball game.
Yeah.
He was just that kind of guy, and a good guy to be around. And boy, I'm going to miss Mike Pratt.
Yeah, and he made everybody around him comfortable too. He was comfortable, but then he didn't make you feel nervous to go up to him.
That's right. That's exactly right.
He was a big deal, but he didn't act like he was, and just a unique.
That's the kind of guy you enjoy being around. That confident but humble person that that you just you love listening to his stories. He was a good storyteller.
Yeah. I read the book him and Tom wrote, and then I would usually listen to him. He would be on Tom's show every Thursday, and read the book is basically just them chatting like they do on the show or on the broadcast on the air. Definitely gonna miss Mike for sure. Now I'm gonna squeeze a little baseball in, because you said you went to the College World Series out there in Omaha. Did it just shock you to see Ole Miss, barely get in and then win it, or were they just playing at the right ball at the right time? Or
at the time they won it. When I was watching it live, it did not surprise me, because they played so well. Once they got in, they sort of, like you said, last team picked. But when they got in, they played well. They played their best baseball of the season. And, of course, they were ranked number one early in the season before Tennessee got on that incredible run. And then they started having some injuries and maybe lost a little confidence and started, as will happen in a tough conference like the SEC, they started losing some games and really kind of fell off the radar, dropped way out of the top 25. And then at the very end of the season, they started playing pretty well again and got into the SEC tournament and then got selected for the NCAA. Once they got selected in the NCAA tournament, they really put it together, and they had really good leadership, from the coaching standpoint, and also on the team with Tim Elko being such a veteran player and having gone through a lot of adversity as a player, and all those guys on the team really respected him, the big first baseman, and he played really well. And guys just, they.
Oh, lost you for a second there, Coach. You still there? Uh-oh. Can't hear you there. I don't know if you lost the camera or what, but yeah, just talking about the College World Series with Coach Madison, and Ole Miss just creeps in and then whoops everybody en route to the title. Let's see if we can get Coach Madison back here. Let's see. See if you can hop back in here in just a second, Coach. If you can hear me, we'll get you right back in. Let's see if we can get you back in here in just a second. But Ole Miss, they bounced back and won the series against Kentucky. That was kind of I don't know if it's a turning point for them, but they were struggling when they came in and played the Cats in the middle of the season. Trying to get Coach Keith Madison back. Let's see if we can you hear me, Coach? No, let's see if we get Coach back in a minute. A few more baseball questions for Coach, and a few more sports questions and everything too. And I kind of ask him about after Ole Miss wasn't number one, that team that did take over the number one spot and had it for quite a while. Maybe we can get Coach's thoughts on that as well. We have a little technical difficulties. Let's see if we can get Coach Madison back in. Let's see if he can. Let's see. Get him to just try to pop back in. You come back. I'm just going to message him right quick. So I'm just doing this as we go on the air. You come back in, Coach. And we have another friend of the show coming on later, too. TB's going to hop on in a minute, I believe, as well. And we have another friend of the show. Y'all have known him. Got to listen to him. JR, the boss man, JR McHenry, is going to be on with us here in just a second as well. See if Coach Madison is able to come back in. Let's try this here. Let's see. Let's see if we can do that. We'll go out, all the way out, and then see if we can get Coach to come back in. Let me resend him the link too. So y'all bear with me. It's just me here right now, flying solo for just a minute, and we'll send Coach another invite link and see if we can get some more good stories that Coach is always good for. Always does a lot of good stuff for Southeastern Kentucky as well. Just a great guy. And y'all longtime listeners know we've had Coach on several times. Get his thoughts on next year's baseball team, next year's Kentucky team, see what he thinks about that as well. So if we can get Coach back, we'll bounce a few more topics off of him. TB and I are probably going to do the game-by-game season preview, since football is right around the corner, just like we're talking about with Coach Madison. Kentucky schedule sets up favorably, and hopefully they can handle business in these 12 games coming up. And it's all a 10-win season last year. Get Will Levis back as a veteran. See what those offensive tackles can help protect him and keep the big blue wall. And It'll be a lot of fun this season too. It might be different how they attack. Don't have just one deal there, but you got a lot of new pieces in place. Guys ready to step up. Receivers, young and old, tight ends. The running back room is still very deep, so lots of excitement, and rightfully so. Let's see. Let me try to get TB in here. Oh, there's Coach. There you are. Got you back in there, Coach.
Yeah.
Oh man, look at all the memorabilia room there.
Well, yeah, I thought I better come inside. So I thought it might being outside may have affected our connection there, but I apologize.
Oh, it's all right. That's all right. Yeah, you were just talking about how Ole Miss just kind of clicked at the right time. You know, started off good, dipped, and then kind of corrected it right at the right time just to get in and then win the whole thing when they got.
Yeah, that's right. They got hot at the right time, you know, and they played so well in Omaha. And I watched them on television in the regionals and the super regionals, and I knew they were putting it together because they were, you know, they really hit the ball well, and they were getting good pitching, and it was fun to watch them in Omaha. It was a good World Series.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it shows you, I mean, how really close Kentucky was, because a lot of people, not just Kentucky fans like myself, but a lot of really good baseball people that were that really thought Kentucky should have gotten in over Ole Miss. So that shows you, you know, a lot of times people don't realize how good the SEC is in baseball, and you see a team like Ole Miss just barely get in the tournament, and then they win it all. I mean, Kentucky could have done that.
Yeah.
And there's probably 10 or 11 teams in the SEC that could have done that.
Because every ranked team, Kentucky, I mean, they won the series, you know, Tennessee, Auburn, you name it, go down the list. You know,
That's right.
I
think Kentucky was the first. They were the first team to win a series against Tennessee.
Sure.
And everybody, I mean, at that time, everybody thought Tennessee just was so much better than everybody else in the country, and they were. I mean, they had it all. They had the defense. They hit the ball. They had great power, and they had pitching depth. So they had it all. They put it in, and they really put it together. But then when they got in that situation against Notre Dame, you could almost see it. You know, when they would pan the dugout with the cameras, or when they get close-ups of the players, you could see them thinking, "Hey, we're in trouble," and they didn't respond like they had responded earlier in the season, because they were behind in a lot of games during the year, of course, and they fought back. But you know, when the money was on the line, it was a whole different story. And Notre Dame played really well.
Yeah. Now, you played Tennessee countless times in your coaching career, and you know, maybe they were good, maybe they weren't, but or maybe you played teams that were loaded just like them. You know, had it all. As an opposing coaching team, when you see Tennessee this past year, they had it all, and they flaunted the fact that they had it all. How does that hit you when you see them doing what they were doing with the, you know, bat flipping and some, you know, flipping people off, and how would that sit with?
Well, you know, when you're a competitor, Vinny, that motivates you. And I don't understand the philosophy of wanting to motivate the other team to beat you. You know, I don't understand that, but it really worked for Tennessee. They sort of played with that "it's me against the world" attitude, and it really was good for them until they came up against Notre Dame in the tournament, and then it you know, it was like a house of cards. They collapsed. But yeah, I mean, I love beating teams like that, and because I was the kind of coach, I always wanted, you know, I wouldn't let my guys pop off in the dugout. I wouldn't I wouldn't let my guys show up the other team when they hit a home run or anything like that. It doesn't mean they were always perfect.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't. You know, I would hear guys chirping at the end of the dugout, and I'd have to walk down there and stop it. But you know, baseball players are always chirping a little bit. But it's almost like Tennessee wanted to be the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to be the villain. They wanted to be the team that everybody wanted to beat. And I don't. Maybe I'm just not smart enough, but I don't understand that philosophy. But again, it worked well for them during the season, but not so well in the tournament.
So was it just the pressure of the moment in that Notre Dame series, or did you see little signs before that maybe they weren't at that same level? What was it?
I saw signs for sure when Notre Dame got the lead. And when Notre Dame got the lead and they had that positive momentum going, that's when I saw Tennessee start doubting a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They started thinking, man, you could almost see it in their faces that we've had this incredible year where everybody's number one.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've met our Waterloo. You know, it was one of those type of deals. And and I don't know, maybe it was just me and, you know, always, you know, when you play or coach at Kentucky, or if you're a Kentucky fan, you want to beat Tennessee in every sport, in everything you do. Maybe that was part of it. Maybe I was seeing more into it, but I've talked to a lot of coaches since then, and they agreed with me that they kind of saw the, you know, when you build your house on sand,
mm-hmm.
it's going to collapse.
Yeah, for sure. Every time. Oh, I think I just saw where Ryan Ritter got drafted and got a contract signed for this past team. What do you think about his future going forward as a pro?
I think he has tremendous tools as a shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is definitely one of the best shortstops that's ever played at Kentucky. He could make plays that were definitely big league plays, big league skills defensively. He's going to have to, with the wood bat, and I believe he can do this because he's a very good athlete. He's going to have to make adjustments and cut down on his swing a little bit. He tends to get really long with his swing. He tries to hit home runs by getting long with his swing, which is never a good idea. But and pitchers learn how to pitch to that. But I have seen him make that adjustment, and he's a smart young man. He's a great athlete. He can make that adjustment. I think the wood bat will actually be good for him because it will force him to cut down on the swing a little bit. And you know, great athletes like that, it's all about the timing. And when he starts timing that ball with the wood bat and hitting the ball in gap and hitting a few home runs without overswinging, he's gonna learn quickly that, hey, I don't need a big swing. Right. I just need to be short to the ball and have great timing. I think when he learns that, he's got a chance to be in the big leagues for a long time because he has the skills and the makeup and everything. He's a great young man. I think that that organization is lucky to have him because he's a class act.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, congratulations to him.
Absolutely,
for sure, going forward.
And there's been some other guys signed too. You know, Harper and boy, a guy I really like is Tyler Guilfoyle.
Man,
he's really good. You know, he has that fastball. He throws his fastball the same speed as another guy, but gets greater results because of the spin. And he could pitch up in the zone and get people out. And he also had a great demeanor on the mound. I loved watching him pitch because he never seemed to change his expression. He was stoic and he was competitive. And he didn't get emotional on the mound. So he just had a lot of maturity for a college pitcher on the mound. So he's going to be a good one. I think I was surprised that he didn't go earlier in the draft because maybe that's why I'm not a pro scout, but I really thought he might go in maybe the third or fourth round because I loved the spin on his fastball and I loved his competitiveness.
And he was always coming in a tight spot and having to go extended at bats, extended stretches, not just, get this guy and that's all you got to do. I mean, he was all season long, especially down the stretches, he answered the bell every time.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. Down the stretch, he sometimes they would lean on him for 4 innings.
Yeah.
And maybe 5 innings. And sometimes, just an inning, but boy, he was really, really good down the stretch. I thought he was the best reliever in the league down the stretch.
Yeah, for sure. Now I got to ask you too, with all these changes we see every other day, basically. But we got Oklahoma and Texas coming to the SEC. So what do you think that does for the landscape in baseball when those programs do get into the league?
Well, those are 2 great programs, and they're programs that are big players in many sports. It's not just football; it's also basketball and baseball. They've proven themselves in a lot of different sports through the years. I have mixed emotions.
Mm-hmm.
There's a part of me that loved the SEC when it was a 10-team league or, back in the day. And I don't know what it's doing to the landscape of college athletics to have these mega conferences.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's going to be a lot of fun being able to watch the Longhorns here in Lexington.
Yeah.
And the Sooners too, because they both have really, especially in football, really proud football programs that will add, to the league, to an already great league, in my opinion, to the greatest league. And when you add significance to a great league, that means you're a great program. That's what they are.
Yeah, and so it was. In the series finale, the season finale, it was, SEC over soon to be SEC with Ole Miss beating Oklahoma. So,
that's right.
Everybody that maybe bristles at the dominance of the SEC. Well, it's only going to get stronger when the runner-up is about to be an SEC team real soon.
That's right. And I've never seen an organization change as quickly in such a short amount of time as the NCAA. With the transfer portal, with the NIL, and I guess you can't put this on the NCAA, but it's just the landscape of college athletics where these super conferences are getting more powerful, especially the SEC. It almost makes your head spin. There's so many changes going on and so many things happening at the Power 5 level in the NCAA. I don't know what else could happen that would, but I'm sure something's going to happen to add to the, I won't say chaos, but to the change.
Yeah, for sure. As far as this upcoming season for Kentucky, is Coach Men's going to hit the transfer portal again? Does he have guys ready to step up? What do you think the makeup of this team is going to look like?
Well, I know he has hit the transfer portal. I know it's been, in some ways, a tough summer in that I think 1 or 2 guys from the transfer portal got drafted and signed. And then some of the young guys that he was counting on coming in as freshmen, they got drafted maybe a little bit earlier than he expected, and they have signed. So it'll be interesting to see how the team comes together. But they do have some solid guys coming back. They had a really good recruiting class coming in, even after losing a couple of the guys. I think they're going to be fine. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, but the catcher the freshman that caught at the end of the season, wish I could remember his name. I don't have it in front of me, but what a great job he did. And I think he's going to be a star. I mean, he really, in that stretch, in that run that Kentucky made, at the end of the season into the SEC tournament. He was a big player in that. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I think they're going to have some good players. I think they'll hopefully be a little more consistent than they were last spring. And one thing that we have to remember, and it's easy to forget this, is that Kentucky lost so many pitchers and they had so many injuries on this team. And I know fans don't like to hear that. They a lot of fans see injuries as an excuse. No, it's injuries are real, and they can, especially if you're an athlete, you have a season-ending injury. It's real.
Yeah.
So, but they lost a lot of pitching during the season. They had some really unusual injuries. They had not only pitchers, but they had some of their starters get hurt. And so it was a tough year in terms of injuries. One of the toughest years I ever remember Kentucky having on the injury level. But at the same time, they still made a really solid run at the end of the season, even with the pitching injuries and all the things that went wrong during the season. Somehow they put it together. And I told Coach Mingione this. I said, man, to me, the turning point of the season for you guys is when it was at South Carolina and they weren't playing well. And Coach Min starts coaching third base. He comes out of the dugout, starts coaching third base. And it was almost like his presence on the field with the guys made a difference. They kind of bought into him being out there. Plus, it gave Coach Amorati a chance to be a part of the offense in the dugout and talking to the hitters and their approach. And he and Will Coggins did a great job at the end of the season, collaborating and helping the guys be more productive offensively. But I think Coach Min's just changing roles there a little bit. Sometimes it's a subtle change that coaches can make that make a real difference on a team. And I thought that was a good one.
Yeah, that's like just a little tweak like that. And
that's right.
And spark you. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Are you at every home game at Kentucky Proud Park? Do you go to all of them?
Pretty much. I go to most of them. Unless I'm in Nashville visiting the grandkids, I'm there.
Okay.
But it's and I do some radio with Darren Hedrick, and occasionally I'll do some TV with Dick Gabriel. And I love doing that because it really helps me focus on the game, because I love talking to people, and I love people. And so if I'm down in the stands watching the game, I'm always talking to somebody, and before you know it, it's the sixth inning, and I don't know what's going on in the game. So if I'm in the radio booth or the TV booth, I'm really bearing down and I'm on every pitch, just like I used to be when I was coaching. And that's a lot of fun for me to do that.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to get up there and look you up and holler at you before you have to go into the booth or put a headset on.
Yeah. You come up to the press box and we'll hang out for a while. I'd love that. Yeah,
definitely, Coach. And we always love having you on here. TB had to work late, but he always enjoys you too. Thank you for taking the time. Try not to bother you, but every time we reach out to you, you always graciously come on. And
absolutely, I love it. And tell TB I'm a little disappointed I didn't get to talk to him too. I thought maybe he didn't like me. That's the reason he didn't come on tonight.
Let's see. He might be getting himself together here. We can let you scold him.
Yeah. Hey, come on, man.
Coach, I was just running a little bit late there, Coach. I'm gonna have to hit some laps now. I do apologize.
Hey, meet me at the track at 6:00 tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You hurt my feelings blowing me off like this. Come on.
Tell you what I'm going to do. Since I'm in Iowa now, there's actually a cornfield out my back door. I'll have to do a Field of Dreams montage for you, Coach.
Okay, that's good. That's
good. There you go. And because see, I took the coaching last time he was on TV. He said, "Hey, bring me on, talk about something besides baseball." So we talked some other stuff.
Yeah, we talked a little basketball, a little football.
You got in the doghouse. I took the coaching TV. So now you know.
Well, for my high school baseball coach would tell you, Brown don't listen very well, so he's running a lot of laps. So there we go.
Coach, man, we can't thank you enough for taking the time.
Glad absolutely.
You enjoyed your summer and got to go to the World Series and looking forward to football, watching all day like we always do on Saturdays. It's right around the corner. So.
Yeah. Always enjoy talking to y'all. And anytime you need the old baseball coach to come on, just holler at me.
Definitely. We'll do it again.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Next time, I'll be ready to rock and roll now.
Okay. I like it. Talk to y'all
Yes,
soon.
sir.
Thank you, Coach Keith Madison. We did talk a little basketball, a little football. How you doing, man? You say you was running.
Doing good. Running a little bit late. So I just had to make sure that that's why I told you go ahead and talk to Coach. So I didn't want to hop in and interrupt that. But caught the last little bit as I was getting settled. So doing outstanding here on my end here in the Midwest here.
Yeah.
Oh, my dog is already
Hey.
kind of coming back and forth. So bear with me one moment.
The real superstar has entered the chat. Sammy Dog has entered the chat. That's the real MVP, Sammy Dog.
Oh yeah. So
When your wife, when Kate tweeted at you, TB, come get your dog the other day, I was in the floor, man. That was rolling.
Oh yeah, he's learning a new house, and it's a little bit, well, it's quite a bit bigger than the old house, so he's got a little bit more room for his shenanigans. So he's all over the place. He likes to be in the closet. He loves the kitchen because that's where the food is. We figured out he knows how to open up the pantry door. It's one of those barn doors that kind of will slide open. He's figured out how to nudge that open where his food is. So he's all over the place.
Yeah, so he can roam a little more. He's still getting his bearings in the new digs and Sammy gonna Sammy. So
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, man, like we talked about, we have to do our game by game preview. We'll get the schedule out and all that good stuff. Hadn't done that yet. Got JR the Bossman coming up about 7:30 or so. I guess probably the biggest news, well, basketball wise, would be as Reed Shepherd last night in the AAU game.
Yeah.
Going up against Dillingham and Bronny and all them. And on the football side, Bo Allen transferring is probably the biggest news on that front, as he said he's going to transfer and probably look to go somewhere where he can try to play. Because
and you can't fault the young man for that with the
right.
with the landscape playing a changing the way it is. You can't fault him for that. And people want to play. So again.
And he was a legacy recruit. His dad played, and there was a time where sons of UK players were not even giving UK a second look. You got Jamal Adams that played for the Jets and the Seahawks, son of running back George Adams, and he wasn't about to come to Kentucky. Zach Martin played for my Cowboys forever. His dad played for Kentucky, and he wasn't coming to Kentucky. So starting to get some legacy guys now. Bo was a son of a player. His dad Bill played. But, Levis comes in, and, of course, it's his show again this year. And then your homeboy from Iowa, they say Deuce Hogan was and Bo Allen were kind of battling and locking horns for that number 2 spot. And if Levis balls out and say they go and hit the transfer route again, you can kind of see maybe the writing getting on the wall for Bo Allen. So he's like, let me just,
and that's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes things don't work. I mean, that's the nature of how things go. Other news on the basketball front: Reed Shepherd showing out, but Justin Edwards, who was headed to your neck of the woods down Knoxville to the Volunteers, he's a Wildcat, and part of the calculus on that he took into account was the NIL deal. And so something I brought up on Spaces before, and I tweeted this. I was told that Coach Cal and Mitch Barnhart in UK were way behind on NIL, and it was going to cost recruits. That's what I was told on the basketball side and the football side. Now, since that time, the last couple of weeks, Cal is back to being swaggy. He's pulled in a couple of top 10 recruits for future classes. Mark Stoops has plucked a couple of guys for future recruiting classes. So I don't know what to believe. Do I believe the reports that UK is somehow behind the eight ball on this stuff? Or should I look at the results that we've got young men that are choosing the University of Kentucky, and part of that is NIL. I'm going to go with something my parents used to say: the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So don't tell me what's in it. Let me taste it and see.
Mhm.
And so as I'm looking at this landscape, there's a lot of people that are choosing the University of Kentucky, even in the NIL era. So as I've always said, folks will like to say, Mitch Barnhart, he does like this. Cal is like this. I'm going to go with what I see. That's just me. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. But when I'm grading the job that Mitch Barnhart's doing, let me look at the results. Let me look at your resume. And someone brought up on the spaces last night that Nick Saban has been slow to the NIL a little bit as well. But then come to find out, like Alabama's got like $3 million worth of NIL deals for its team. So my point to that has been, if you're Alabama football, Kentucky basketball, you don't have to rush out like a Texas A&M football or Tennessee basketball to make a splash on NIL. NIL becomes a component of your overall recruiting strategy. Not the number one, but it factors into all of that. Also, you have to keep in mind, I've been saying for a long time, if you're UK and Mitch Barnhart and Coach Cal, you've got to be cautious. There's an account I follow, Sports Biz Miss, Christy Dosh, who's all in NIL. She's cataloged all these NIL deals across the board: football, basketball, women's track, gymnastics, all of them. And so what she has found is, to no one's surprise, there's some unscrupulous folks out there
Mhm.
preying on the naivete of these players and their families. And so there's a situation where the players aren't getting the money they've been promised. There's some strings attached to it. And so my whole thing is, if you're Kentucky, if you're Alabama, you have to be cautious, right? Because you don't want to be known as, well, yeah, the Kentucky's got an NIL consortium, but they don't do what they say they're going to do, or there's strings attached, or these guys are getting the athletes are getting involved with agents. They're taking 60% or more of what the deal is.
Yeah.
So I love the way that with TJ Beesner, that Cal has set up, we're going to educate these guys and we're going to protect these kids. That's number one. We're going to be helpful in this NIL era. So again, I was told that Cal and Kentucky and Stoops didn't get it. Kentucky was going to be left in the dust. That's what I was told. And since then, bringing in top 10 recruits, including Justin Edwards, who up until maybe a week or so ago was headed down to Knoxville.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
he's a wing player,
yeah.
a left-handed elite wing. I don't know. And that's, if there's a knock where people, well, Cal hadn't got a big time wing
Yeah.
player. Well, he has now, and he's a lefty. So checked off those.
Absolutely. So again, you and I don't do recruiting by much, but
This is recruiting a heavy of the shows we've had in
in a long time. Right. So again, Nick Saban knows Alabama eats first. Whatever the landscape is, Alabama is doing things different. And like Cal says, Kentucky's going to eat first.
Yeah.
People don't like it, but them's is the facts. And as I've said before, and I will keep saying, there isn't an era of college basketball where Kentucky wasn't dominant. Not good, but dominant.
Yeah.
There isn't an era. From pre-integration to before the three-point shot to when you had, loaded the high post offense was like whatever it is, one and done, whatever era you want to look at. Kentucky basketball has been successful. And so there was that quote that's going around of Cal that came out. It actually goes back to 2012. And I know a lot of rival fan bases have found it. But basically, he just said to a coach that was upset and was trash talking him about recruiting, he says to the coach, "You said it, and that's fine, but just understand nothing stupid went on. It's just that I'm me and we're Kentucky and we can come in and get that kid whenever we want." Now, a lot of fans, again, it's a 10-year-old quote, and he was talking about Marcus Teague, and a lot of folks are under the impression Marcus Teague was the player and Mick Cronin was the coach.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of rival fans, well, the last couple of years, okay, all right. Put it into context. He said it in 2012, in the midst of going to 4 Final Fours in 5 years, something that 3 coaches, period, have done. So yes, he's going to be chesty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I had interaction with some Auburn fans. I guess you got us. I mean, okay. Yeah, I love that Cal. Look, Kentucky's Kentucky. There's been a refocus, a reshuffling on the with Cal staff, with everything associated with Kentucky basketball.
Nope.
I don't think it's because he got lazy or got comfortable, but it's you and I have talked about this before. It's really hard to equal 4 Final Fours in 5 seasons. It's only been done by 3 coaches, and so there was going to be a drop off.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're seeing now from Cal is basically after 2013, right? A lot of people, Cal's lost it. Remember 2013? Oh, NIT season. And so 2014, what happened? Title game.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said, well, you can only you can't get guys to come back and play. So 2015, Harrison's come back, Willie Cauley-Stein come back, and then what happened? 38-1.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people have been writing Cal's obituary for the last 10 seasons. And so now he's coming back, he's upset. Now he's returning the unanimous player of the year. Now he's adding top recruit after top recruit. Now he's developing guys like a Jacob Toppin that's going to be his 3rd year in the program.
No.
So all that mess he was talking, and I'm not saying this team's going to go 38-1, but come April of 2023, if Kentucky cuts down those nets, Cal's post-game interview is going to be great. That's all I'm saying. This team get to the Final Four.
Yep.
It's return of the MAC. So there we go on the recruiting trail.
Yeah. And we'll get some guys that cover that stuff in here like we do.
Oh, yeah. I just,
but you took the words of my mouth with, Cal saying Kentucky's first. And you said a lot of people might not like it. Fans of other teams, media members. maybe even our fans just, oh, Cal, who have just wanting to just roll their eyes at everything he says. But he said that months ago, talking about this NIL stuff, way before Justin Edwards just committed, way before his monster class started to form. He said that a long time ago, and people might have just went, "Yeah, he don't know. That's just him saying stuff." And here we go. Here, Kentucky still eating.
And again, it's not just Cal; it's Kentucky. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look, Billy Gillespie, okay, he's the aberration, but every other coach has had a top recruiting class. Don't forget Randolph Morris and Joe Crawford and Ramel Bradley was a top recruiting class under Tubby.
Tubby, yeah, yeah.
And we know Rick was bringing them in.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and look at the guys that Eddie Sutton brought in. You look at the '78 team that Joe B put together. So this isn't unusual, and I get it. Look, man, Auburn, whoever it is, your new money, right? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but we've been doing this for a long time. That's what makes the blue bloods the blue bloods.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I'm not taking any trash talk from a fan base that doesn't have any Final Fours. I'm not hearing it from Knoxville. I'm not hearing it from Auburn, Alabama with the one. Like I'm not interested in that.
Yeah. Yep. So, try as they might, it is, it is what it is. So good stuff seeing those recruits. I'm not even a big AAU guy, high school guy, but I did watch a good little bit of the game last night with Reed Shepherd and Dillingham and those guys. Was it the Midwest, I think, is where Reed Shepherd was playing, Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky, all those teams, all those players. And from what I heard, I guess the Bronny's team hadn't played together a lot, or maybe they threw some guys and just added them to the mix. But reading them just carved them up, just moving, cutting, passing, extra pass to open 3-point shooters, hustling and picking up offensive rebounds, getting out on the break, fundamental 2-on-1 fast break. Nothing just wow, but everything was solid. Everything was on point, and they sliced and diced, strive for greatness with Ronnie and Dillingham and those guys. And sadly, Trent Noah, who was last year playing for the Harlan County Black Bears, has transferred to North Laurel. He was on that team. He went out there last night and hit a 3. So he's going to be with Reed in North Laurel and putting it on the Black Bears. But he was a Harlan County kid last year. But he was out there he was out there balling too with them. So
yeah,
solid squad, man. They look good.
I think Reed's going to go from. And again, I'm not a recruiting person. I was worried, and now he looks like he's going to be a contributor.
Mm-hmm.
Not just he's a Kentucky kid, he's a legacy, and all that, but he's going to be part of what Kentucky's building for the future. So that's got to be awesome.
A prominent part, not just the bit part.
Right. He's going to be a key component going back to Darius Miller.
Yeah.
And so and honestly, I think that's probably the best way if you are going to be a Kentucky kid to play at Kentucky. It's probably good that you are going to be a contributor and not a fringe player. And I mean that. I love Dante Allen. He's a great kid.
Mm-hmm.
But it was clear that he was not going to be a regular contributor.
Yeah.
And so the problem with that is when he has those moments that kind of suck you in, you can't just latch on to those moments and say, well, he could be doing more. Sometimes it just is what it is.
Right.
And it's nobody's fault. Like Bo Allen transferred. Dante Allen is transferred. It's no one's fault. It just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
So it looks like Reed Shepard is gonna be a high level contributor.
yeah. And he's still got a couple years to before he even gets to Kentucky. So and he's accepting the challenge and the stage we saw him on last night, first time on ESPN. He went out there trying to do too much. He wasn't in awe of anybody. He didn't get abused and embarrassed. None of that.
Right.
And
Right.
so we still got 2 more years of, doing this thing here. And then he comes on into Lexington. If he might grow a little bit more, definitely get stronger and, more experienced and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's like, and this for the Dante Allen stuff, like you said, as bad as everybody wanted it for him to work, it just, like you said, after a while, it just wasn't going to. You just see defensively, he was never going to be able to not get lost on
Right.
defense. If he ain't hitting shots, then it's 4-on-5 out there, and Cal ain't having that. So, yeah, like you said,
Right.
contribute and do well. Be levels above where Dante was if you're going to be a Kentucky kid coming in.
And again, I know Kentucky fans, you want to embrace a kid from Kentucky. I get it. I get it. It's a great story. It is great. But as I've always said, that's not what has made Kentucky great.
Mm-hmm.
It's not been the homegrown kids. We don't produce as a state, as a Commonwealth, enough players to make it sustainable.
Right.
Because when the Dante Allen chatter was at its loudest, people, well, it just means more to these Kentucky kids. I don't know. Are you going to look Chuck Hayes in the eyes and tell me he didn't want to win? That wearing the Kentucky jersey meant nothing to him? And as we talked about, Darius Miller, love Darius. We probably don't win that title in 2012 without Darius Miller. But having Anthony Davis from Chicago helps.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I get it. Goose Givens from Lexington, that's a great thing. But,
And
what does that 96 team look like without Tony Delk from Tennessee and Antoine Walker from Chicago and Walter McCarty from Evansville and Wayne Turner from Boston? Like, I get it, but that's not what makes Kentucky great. What's Kentucky basketball without Dan Issel, without Jamal Mashburn, without Jeff Shepard?
Yeah. Yeah. So Jack Goose probably the last Kentucky kid get on my back. I'm gonna lead us to, and that's we were 3 months old when that title happened.
Right. So the landscape has changed. Kenny Walker from Georgia, and I can go. I get it. You want to have the hometown kid, the home state kid. I get that, but that's not what makes the teams great.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work because we don't produce enough talent. Now, it's a good story when it happens, like Darrell Griffith leading Louisville to the 1980 championship, hometown kid.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but 1986, it's Milt Wagner, it's Billy Thompson, it's the Camden, New Jersey connection. It's not the homegrown kids. It makes for a great story, but that's not why our programs are great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yep. Landscape has changed, and and that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah.
We got go ahead.
Now, are we going to go? We're going through the schedule.
Yeah. Get our season preview.
Put on my prognosticator hat. All right, you ready for that?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So Miami, Ohio, September the 3rd. Cats win.
Mm-hmm.
I think that gets to 1-0. Kentucky at Florida. I think Kentucky will win. Florida's in a state of disarray.
First year coach.
First year coach. This is the game. If you get Florida, now you can start getting excited that this can be a special season. You hit the Florida game, get you to 2-0, get you a leg up in the SEC East.
Yep. Just like last year, Missouri week two is all we heard. And now this year is Florida week 2. So
right. So I think Kentucky gets a 2-0. Week 3, Youngstown State. That's a Kentucky win.
Throw the hometown for Stoops and Merrill throwing the hometown school a bone.
Yeah.
Give a little money and come on down and play them. Yeah.
Next week was at week 4. Yes. Mm-hmm. Northern Illinois is that who? There's a quarterback that went to Northern Illinois in the NFL, wasn't
it? Wasn't it Eastern Illinois? Who, like Romo and all those guys? There was a bunch of dudes went to. Was Romo and Jimmy G went there? Or
that might have been Eastern Illinois. Anyway, Kentucky's winning that game. Kentucky's winning against Northern Illinois. Now, October the 1st. So I've got the Cats getting to 4-0.
They got Northern Illinois, according to prognosticators, is picked to win whatever division they're in the MAC. So just the Cats may be looking ahead to the Grove, or else they might have a replay of that Chattanooga game where it was. We remember how that one we had that pick 6 saved them. So I'm not saying to lose. I'm just saying Northern Illinois is not a typical cupcake, if you will. I think these dudes can actually play, so they better wrap it up to handle business against them.
Right, and I'm not saying that these Kentucky wins are going to be easy.
Yeah,
that's what going down to Florida is not going to be easy. It doesn't matter how in shambles and the program is they're trying to rebuild.
And I think Miami is supposed to be good too. And in contrast, Tennessee is playing the projected crappiest MAC teams on their schedule. Kentucky's playing the 2 MAC teams projected to play the MAC title game.
And against the MAC schools, I'm just looking for comfortable wins. I'm looking for, let's put some distance in the third quarter and just let's get out of here healthy. That to me is a win. They don't need to win by 40 or 50 points, but just get it to a situation where I don't have to pay attention to the fourth quarter. Because you remember, oh man, was it 2018? I can't remember what year that was. Every game was close. Every game was coming down to the final possession. I don't want that. Give me a game I can kind of have on in the background and kind of keep an eye on. Give me that. So I've got Kentucky getting to 1, 2, 3, 4-0 with Northern Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
And that sets up an October 1st date at the Grove, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know that much about Mississippi and who they lost, but I know it's a road game. It's Lane Kiffin. You've got to assume that Ole Miss is going to put some points on the board.
Yeah, they lost their quarterback, was it Matt Corral? But this is week 5 now, so whoever they have in place should be in whatever groove he's going to be in, because Kiffin, offensive guy, he's going to have somebody that can run his offense. Right. And it's halfway through the season now. And he's like we get week 1.
Right. So that's going to be a tough challenge because the offense is going to have to put up some points. Mm-hmm. And the defense is going to have to be disciplined.
So the past time we played them, we've had them beat. Should have beat them. Back when DK Metcalf was there, Kentucky's up double digits in the second half, and those dudes just go out and mouse our DBs. That's basically they won the jump balls and scored a couple touchdowns. And tip your cap, they rallied, and in the past 2 times woulda, shoulda, coulda, but Kentucky's had these boys beat. So I think we get them this time. Maybe
Yeah.
I
So
think we go down there and steal one from the Ribs in the Grove.
Is that 6-0?
5-0.
5-0. 5-0. Okay. So the next week, October 8th, it's South Carolina at Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
First year coach.
Second, but still, I know.
Is it second year? Oh, Beamer. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
He got mayonnaise dripping on him from that bowl game. He got the Dukes. He got Dukes in his hair and ears and all that. And they, to their credit, they won 6-7 games, made a bowl when nobody saw that coming. But we got streaks. It's about principalities. We got streaks to uphold now. We on the good end of some streaks.
Right. And South Carolina's only won one time since 2014. Keep it going. Keep it going. The Cats, by the media, were finally, as I texted you, picked to finish ahead of South Carolina in the SEC East after 8 years of showing on the field Kentucky's a better program. So is that 6-0?
It is.
I'm going 6-0, baby. I'm feeling bold. Fortune favors the bold. So you got South Carolina winning too. You still?
I got Kentucky winning, and they went 6-0 last year, and I got them doing it again.
They were 6-0 up until my wedding last year.
Right. It wasn't your wedding. It was the bye week that messed them up. It wasn't nothing. Your wedding had nothing. It was the bye week.
Yeah, it was the bye week. So then we've got Mississippi State coming to Kentucky. I don't know what Mississippi State has, who they lost. I know for going back since I can remember, Mississippi State's always been a tough out.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember there being one of those weird Thursday night games when we were back in school, just like came down to a field goal or something like that. So Cats got to be ready to play, and they can't be looking ahead.
The home team always wins it, though. They always win there. Kentucky always wins in Lexington. If I remember right, Kentucky hasn't won in Starkville since like Randall Cobb was on campus. The home team always wins. Kentucky went down there last year and looked terrible. And the year before that, Mississippi State came to Lexington and it was that 27-2 game or something. It was some weird score.
Right.
But then they got payback last year and Kentucky couldn't stop them and just couldn't do anything. And for whatever reason, the home team always wins.
So is that's 7-0?
Yeah.
All right, 7-0. And we've got 7-0, then we've got bye week, and then Tennessee.
Oh, God.
Two things that have tripped up Stoops. the one thing that he's got to get right is coming off the bye week and taking care of Tennessee. So again, you've got to assume Tennessee is going to put up some points. It's at Tennessee. It's after a bye week. And I know this is a game you want, being a Kentucky fan in Knoxville. I know you want this one the same way I wanted that Citrus Bowl, being a Kentucky fan in Iowa. But I don't know. I don't. My heart obviously, let's do it. But getting to 8-0 at Tennessee, I don't know. I might have to just make the calculated guess. Tennessee might do it.
Yeah, it pained me to write that here just now, but the last time they were in Neyland Stadium, 2020 COVID year, they walked out with a 34-7 victory, but that was Jeremy Pruitt and his allegation getting himself. Now we got a new staff down there.
Yeah,
and they again had them beat last year. The pick six done us in because it was. Neither team could stop the other. It was 45. Right. It's like a arena football league game. It was just up and down the field. But yeah, Freddie Maggard, just something about Tennessee. We've been hearing this my whole life. bye week, Knoxville. The Josh Allen team that went 9-3 went down there and looked, got stomped with Benny and Josh Allen. It's just something about down there. I got 7-1. I'm rambling, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna say 7-1.
We get a week. We get that to lick our wounds and go to Missouri. That's a win.
As bad as they can't stand it, and you've told stories about the coaches in the press box.
Oh yeah.
The Missouri.
Was that 2017? It was Stoops' first win over a top 25 team. And I can't remember how the game ended, but it ended, and I was in the back row of the press box. I'm not, but I'm right next to the Missouri coaches box. And as soon as the game ended, it's, bleep, 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 bleep. This is Kentucky. And since that moment, Missouri's only won once.
Mm-hmm.
Since that moment. So again, it goes, Kentucky is a program better than these other programs. So I'm going to get us to, 8-1 with the win over Missouri.
And their little DB popped off last week about I hate that blue and white, and he's been watching, and he's from Como. Like I said, he's a local kid, so he spoke for the whole town, the Chamber of Commerce, the brothers at the barbershop in Como, the barbecue joint. Everybody out there is sick and tired of losing to Kentucky, but that's just how it is, and that's just how it's going to be. He popped off. DeAndre Square quote his tweet with November 5th, like, we'll see y'all then. And again, we got streaks to uphold. There's principalities in this.
Is it crazy that Kentucky football is becoming bulletin board material? Like we've got going to Missouri and South Carolina, like they're circling the calendar. We got to take care of Kentucky. That's weird.
Yeah,
that's weird for football.
The game they won, give them credit, they won it. Kevin Joseph was over there on the sideline, and they all pointed at him and flexed on him. You remember that?
Yeah.
And Kentucky didn't. They were flat, and to their credit, they won. But they won 20-10. All this revenge. You think they won 47-7? It was 20-10. If Kentucky could have just mounted one little drive, they're back in the game. It reminded me. You put the James Young dunk as the greatest dunk you've ever seen. Kentucky could have just mounted a little spark in that game. They beat UConn. They just never could get over the hump. That's the way Kentucky was in Missouri to me. They just couldn't get over the hump. But Missouri, you won, tip your cap, but you won 20-10. You didn't win 51-7, but whatever.
It is what it is. So next week, Vanderbilt comes to town. Got to take care of Vanderbilt. Period. Got to. It seems like Vanderbilt's always in a state of upheaval. So take care of Vanderbilt. Now, that makes the November 19th home game. I'm sorry. Do you have Vanderbilt winning, or you have Kentucky winning?
Yeah, I got Kentucky winning. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't mean to talk. I assumed you did.
Yeah.
So that means November 19th, and I've been saying this. Got to hop on the Big Blue Insider with Dick Gabriel earlier this week.
Yeah.
That was fun. I've been saying this since the schedule came out. That Georgia at Kentucky game, November 19th, if everything holds and Kentucky's at 9-1, I do believe that becomes a de facto, like it was a couple years ago, de facto SEC East title game. Winner goes to Atlanta. So at that point, I think Georgia lost a lot off their title team, but they have reloaded.
Yes, they have.
That's just how Georgia does it. But if everything holds serve, like we've said, and Kentucky's 9-1, Georgia's doing their thing. It's a game day game. I believe SEC Nation is in Lexington all week leading up to it. It is the CBS game of the week. Kroger Field will be rocking.
Maybe it's cold, real cold, November
And,
19th.
and stranger things have happened. I like Kentucky's chances in that game.
Because I don't see Georgia losing before that. I just looked over
Well,
at the schedule.
old Georgia probably would have, because as we've talked about it before, old Georgia was known for dropping a game they shouldn't have dropped, whether
That's
it
true.
be to Vanderbilt or to a terrible Tennessee team or to South Carolina or to whoever they're playing from the West. There would always be a game where you would look at how did Georgia lose that one that would
Mhm.
keep them out of the playoff, out of the BCS, what have you. I think Georgia's turned the corner. I don't know if they do that anymore.
And they come off of a bye week, and then every team has their gauntlet, if you will. It's Florida,
Right.
Tennessee, Florida and Jacksonville with the cocktail deal. At Tennessee at home, at Mississippi State, at Kentucky. That's the three before Kentucky: Florida, Tennessee, at Mississippi State, at Kentucky.
So, it could be conceivable. Again, I think it's going to come down to the winner of that Kentucky Georgia game goes to Atlanta. That's so.
Is this a replay of beating number one LSU with Andre Woodson and them? Is that what we having? Is that what we doing?
I think it plays out. Cats keep it close, and Kroger Field is rocking. We saw what it did to Florida last year
Mhm.
when the stadium was rocking. We saw what it did to LSU.
Mhm.
So what I'm saying is, if the stakes are that kind of high, and all those other things have taken place, it's game day. SEC Nation is there, and Feinbaum does a show on Friday there, and
Oh,
it's CBS and
oh,
game of the week.
boy, you painting a picture. Ooh, you already
It's got that chill in the air, and
oh,
Kentucky's got a shot.
ooh. And
Give me the Cats.
when they were up here 2 years ago, they only won 14-3,
Yeah,
and we had no offense at all. But they only scored 14 points.
right.
Played them down there in the rain. Well, they win 21-0.
Yeah,
Chris C-Rod drops a touchdown in the end zone.
yeah,
I mean, Georgia ain't been blowing us out the past
right.
half
And
decade.
and and, and last year's game, a play here, a play there, and it becomes a different outcome. I don't subscribe to the things that people, Kentucky. I think there was the one throw to the end zone that Levis had. I don't think Kentucky was in a position to win the game. I think they could have sustained some drives and maybe put a few more points on the board. I don't think you can point to two plays and say Kentucky could have won. I don't buy that. But like you said, it's been close.
That's
And Georgia's had the talent gap
yeah.
since forever, since
Mhm.
Herschel, right? Going back to Herschel and Hines Ward, and Mike Bobo, and
Yeah.
you know
Yeah. Yep,
Eric
baby.
Zaire,
Yeah.
and those folks.
Mhm.
So
Here's some
if,
hurt.
if it gets to that point, give me the Cats, man. It could be the biggest game for Kentucky ever played in Lexington.
Mhm.
And so that's going to be tough to beat. So I give me the Cats getting to 10-1. Give me the Cats against the Dogs.
You gotta go for it. They're gonna find a way. They found a way with Florida last year with blocking a field goal and forcing 8 false starts. And
Whatever it takes, man. As I
yeah,
said on Spaces, look, as a Kentucky football fan, I'm not holding my nose at any football win, whether it's Vanderbilt, because I remember years we were Vanderbilt's only win on the season, including the cupcake games that Vanderbilt gets. We were their only win.
yeah.
I'm not going to hold my nose when we beat South Carolina or whoever. But by hook or by crook, if we beat Georgia, take it and run. I don't care if you got to block 2 kicks. Look, you know I'm a San Francisco 49ers fan, right? I'm on the record for saying Jimmy G's a nice guy. He can't be my quarterback. In the playoffs at Green Bay, right? It took a blocked punt, return for a touchdown, right? But you know what happens? You win the game and you advance. You play to win the game, whatever it takes. So you don't get style points if you win by like that. No. You take the win.
There's Iron Bowls. What we saw is it the kick six where and then there's you go back because you know how it is Alabama Auburn.
Yeah, punt, Bama,
Auburn
punt.
fans just say punt, Bama, punt. You're losing 16-3. You block 2 punts, you win 17-16. It don't matter how it happened. You had a 17, they had a 16 when the clock hit 0. That's so
right. You take it. So I'm going on the record. I think Kentucky beats Georgia.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say it too. 10-1.
10-1.
All we've heard from the experts is how manageable and favorable this schedule is. Well,
you got to make that leap if you want to be in. This is the toughest leap to make, right? You get out of the 2 wins, right? You jump up from the basement, and then you start middling around in the 7-5, right? Okay, then you're like, oh, we've had a couple of 10-win seasons the last 4 years. Okay, if you want to make that leap, make the leap. You've got to do it, and this is the team that can do that. So I've got them getting to 10-1, and that brings my hometown school to town and beat Louisville, beat them. It's going to be a win for Louisville. You know how we're talking about playing Georgia close and putting some game pressure on them. If Louisville does that, that's a win for the program.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't looked close. Mm-hmm. And the one they can shake off the year that Petrino left midseason or got fired midseason, you can brush that off. Right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
But last year before, no, man. No. It hasn't been close. I rewatched that game, most of it, during the Kentucky takeover on the SEC network.
Mm-hmm.
And it was clear after the third possession by Kentucky, it's not even close. Like it's just not close.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, you win by 50. It could have been worse. It could have been worse.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, and Stoops wants to beat Louisville. Like I don't think it's in his nature to run up the score, but against Louisville, he wants to get to 50. He wants to put a 50 piece on them,
mm-hmm.
just to prove a point.
Mm-hmm. And was it Malik Cunningham popped off talking about we're a lot better? We got something for Kentucky. He said something at ACC Media Days talking about Kentucky.
Again, I'm looking at all these media days, and everybody's got a little something for Kentucky. I'm used to it. Basketball. Yeah. You come basketball season, everybody. South Carolina, I'm gonna hit some threes against. Okay, whatever, cool for you. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But for Kentucky football to be the measuring stick, unprompted. Louisville, you had your ACC media days. What are you worried about Kentucky for?
Mm-hmm.
But you got to get it close. And with it being in Lexington, good luck.
No.
Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got the Cats going 11-1, and I don't think that's outrageous. A few years ago, 11-1, that's crazy talk. Crazy talk. But 11-1. You've got those early games. You've got programs that I believe we are better than.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You've got Georgia, which is going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
But I do think 11-1 is attainable for this team. Now, will I say 9-3 is a disappointment? I don't want to go that far.
I won't.
9-3, you win the bowl game to get to 10-3 again. I don't consider that a bad thing.
Mm-mm.
But 7-5, okay. Now we're starting to get disappointing because you lost some games you really shouldn't have lost. There's not 5 losses on this schedule.
No.
Even if you say Georgia's 1 loss, 4 more losses, it's tough to find. That's losing to a Louisville, losing to Florida and Tennessee, maybe losing to Mississippi schools. Maybe you've dropped to Missouri or Vandy or South Carolina. That's bad.
Yeah.
7-5 is bad. 9-3, I'm okay with. I think 11-1. I think this becomes a magical season because 11-1, you go to the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
And
First time
yeah, and that happens. We have called Atlanta Catlanta because of all the SEC men's basketball championships that the Cats have won in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
You let the Cats go to the SEC championship game, even if it's against undefeated Alabama.
Yeah.
I will tell you, Atlanta, you ain't got enough burden, baby. You're gonna have to outsource something. A lot of folks gonna be pushing their chips to the table to go. This could be that year, and I feel confident in that. Again, I don't see 4 losses out there. Injuries happen, stuff happens, but there aren't 4 teams or even 3 teams on the schedule that are better than Kentucky that they have to play.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Georgia are about the only. Okay. Okay. Lose at Ole Miss, and you wouldn't. Lose to Georgia, lay an egg at Tennessee, and you're still 9-3, and got a shot at 10.
Right.
So yeah, it's now be cool, and this is what we're hoping. The 10-win seasons, historic, hadn't happened. We've seen 2 in the past 4 years. Now, if we get based on what we got a double-digit regular season, which hadn't happened since I guess 77 when they went 10-1.
Yeah.
So because we've been getting double digits with the bowl game, this would be double digits plus 1 in the regular season. Got a chance for 12 in the SEC championship, 13 in the bowl game. So.
Yeah. So again, I don't think it's pie in the sky to think that Kentucky can do it. The schedule is very favorable, and I think that Coach Stoops and the staff will embrace the moment. You've got a generational quarterback, right? You've built up depth on both sides of the ball. Now, that's not saying that there's not question marks. The wide receiver room is young and unproven.
Mm-hmm.
So this is assuming there's some progression there.
A couple offensive linemen that haven't played, and
right.
We're assuming they step in and become members of the Big Blue Wall and
right.
Hold it down like everybody has been for years. So we're assuming that things break right, and it's not a
right
disaster and stuff falls apart and the wheels come off.
But 11-1, 10-2, I think is very doable with this schedule.
That's it. We got our guest coming right here and backstage. I got to throw our promo up here too. Let everybody know part of BS3 Network. You can see us on Roku. Thanks to Ben Sutterth as well as Ivan Dawkins. Had them on before. So we'll just show everybody what they get when you check out the BS3 Network. Then we'll have our guest on here, friend of the show, JR the Bossman, is in the green room backstage. We'll have him on right here in just a second. glad to be part of BS3 Network. I always work the promo video in, all the podcast, sports, culture, comedy, educational, whatever you want to hit on, there's podcasts for it. Appreciate Ben Sutter for reaching out and letting us be part of BS3 Network. And now we bring our second guest in, closing things out. We had this man on a couple times talking March Madness, which didn't go that well for us at the time, but we still have fun talking to him. Talk NBA all the time. We talk some NFL, the Niners transitioning to a new era. And got to see what them Falcons fans think when they get to see Julio twice on a different squad coming in the division. We got to get all that. But JR the Boss Man, he hosts the Boss Man Show. The link tree is right there on his Twitter. Linktree/JR the Boss Man. We're talking about JR McHenry. JR the Boss Man, what's up, man?
Brother Vinny, Brother Terry, what is good, my brothers? How y'all doing tonight?
Can't complain, man. Can't complain.
Doing fantastic. Thank you for joining us.
Doing what we
Yeah,
do.
man, I'm trying to work my voice back out after surgery. I don't know. I want to come someplace I feel comfortable to come try to talk because your boy voice ain't the same no more, but I'm still the same crazy, though.
Man, you like you said, had a surgery and been under the weather a little bit. You would send me a couple texts about how you was trying to get back on the men. So how you feeling, man? Are you getting your strength back? Are you getting your legs back under you?
I'm about 70%. I hope to be back 100% by October. You know, that's when I really get going. So that's the goal, to be back fully who I am by October. That's when it really counts.
There you go. Yeah, so because that's when everything's popping. Football's going, basketball's about to start.
Yeah, the NBA starts warming up. Yeah,
everything goes.
Well, for me, the NBA is my thing. So for me, that's my everything, right? So for me, I gotta be locked in to discuss the Atlanta not championship contending Hawks. That people think they're going to the championship. I'm like, what happened? What world are we living in? Are we living in France, Germany, the UK? I don't know what world they're talking about. DeJounte Murray ain't gonna make nobody on no championship contender. I'm being real about that. 4 first-round picks for what changed? We're not better than Boston, Miami, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Toronto. Full strength Chicago, Cleveland, Brooklyn's a wild card. So at best right now, it's constructed with number 9. So we get them playing. We get Philadelphia or Boston. 5 games we get home. So what we've traded 4 picks for DeJounte Murray for what? To do what we did last year too? Okay.
Does that playoff run a couple of years ago? Does that kind of color people? What people are saying?
The worst run known to man, Terry. The optical illusion. They gave people the false sense of hope, and that it wasn't real. You had the worst 4th seed ever in the Knicks. Ben Simmons doing what Ben Simmons does, and the Bucks do what the Bucks do. So, I mean, come on, and that's what guys have this pickle right now. That optical illusion run of the COVID year, 2020. 21, rather, whatever year it was. Yeah, I know it's our downfall right now.
But they still building on the momentum. Think their window's open, and
sometimes you gotta know when the window never was open. It just broke your way. It's like any time that Vanderbilt goes to a bowl game, it broke their way.
Back when we talking about James Franklin back,
Hey, the Birmingham Bowl back in the 14, 15.
Yeah.
It broke their way. when Rutgers goes to a bowl game, what happened? It broke their way.
That's true.
That's right.
It's true.
Shoot, we know what time of day it is. Like, come on, man. It's just, sometimes, guys, it breaks your way, man. It just works out for you. Catch the right breaks, lightning in the bottle. If you win it, great. If you don't think you better than what you really are.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
Mm-hmm. What's going on? What's going to happen with KD?
Man, look here. After summer league happens, brothers, the league kind of just goes on vacation, man. So people out of the country, people doing anything in August. September is when open gyms start. You go to training camp. So I would say September, you'll start hearing some noise. Now, that's what I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Somebody agent gonna hit up Shams or Woj Haynes. They're gonna put out a report, or executive gonna do it, and you're gonna see it on Twitter. But I'm gonna be real with you. Durant don't want to be there. He wants out. Do they really want the cloud over their head going in training camp? Probably not. So at one point they'll have to drop their prices, all right, for what they want. Now, mind you, DeJounte Murray, 4 first-round picks, Rudy Gobert, 5 first-round picks in them contracts, that complicated matters for the Durant trade because he say, whoa, you get this for Rudy Gobert and DeJounte Murray, this is Kevin Durant. So maybe a deadline of urgency not want him on the team, have that black cloud over the team, maybe make them drop the price, but he'll eventually be gone from the Nets. But the league is like this time of year, everybody's gone. They on vacation right now. So we're getting ready for the long year coming up, in September. No open gym, training camp, October games start. So August is going to be a quiet period for the NBA.
What about TB's homie, Darvin Ham and his Lakers?
I feel bad for that. I know him very well, TB. I feel bad for that brother. He has to coach aging superstar who's passive aggressive, a frail street clothes unibrow dude that came from your school. Can't trust him to be healthy all year long. And you have a eccentric dresser, I'm gonna leave it at that, who can't shoot worth a darn. So as Usher would say, they're going nowhere fast that reach the climax, TB.
Well, look, I've been honest about the situation, and Vinny will tell you I've been very honest about what the Lakers are, and championship in hand. But the rest of the LeBron era has been underwhelming. It's honestly not what I thought we were going to get out of LeBron, and so I don't know how they make that transition away from him.
You've got the Clutch Sports Lakers now. You've got that going for you. Every Clutch player knows on the man sounds with the Lakers. You have the Clutch Sports Lakers. Rich Paul's the GM, not Rob Pelinka. You got that going for you. La GM.
Man, yeah. So it'll be popping before we know it. Minnesota, because now Carl Anthony Towns don't really have to be a true center. He can be
a forward now. A soft forward. He can be a soft forward. He's a soft forward. I know he's y'all guy. He's a soft forward. That's what he is. So now I'm being nice by saying I'm soft forward.
Well, and so again, Bomani Jones has gone in on him a bunch of times.
Oh yeah.
And every time I want to defend Karl Anthony Towns, he gives us one of those games where he gets 1 or 2 rebounds. And you can't be 7 foot tall.
Fouls. Like I was in Memphis. I watched the Memphis series. I was there. I got me a few towels too, some whoop that tricks as well. I was there. Memphis should have lost the series. Minnesota should have beat Memphis, but also bad coaching, not calling timeouts. You ain't Phil Jackson. You ain't got the Bulls. Call timeout, Chris Finch. But Karl Towns going to be your best player and be your leader, and he in foul trouble every game and being soft and getting punked by Steven Adams and Jaren Jackson Jr. and Brandon Clark. And come on now. And they gave him a supermax contract?
Yes.
Yep.
Wow.
But I think that is because Minnesota's Minnesota, and they're just trying to stay relevant.
Of course, nobody's gonna that's my 2 cents. To be freezing every day. I know I wouldn't. I'm not. Hey, I'm not willing to become a caramel sickle every day.
Right? Yeah.
Being up here in the upper Midwest, I tell you, that's a true statement. That's true. Mm-hmm. That's true,
well, brother. You are a fudge sickle every day, then, brother. You're a fudge
that's right.
Yep. So that's one of the things they got to fight against. They are not
But
my
Ant-Man gonna get paid though. Ant-Man gonna get paid. Hey, you know what's made? I ain't talked about since then, but wasn't it funny when they won that play-in game? They had a celebration. People was crying, throwing stuff in the stands when they won the play-in game.
It's been a while, man.
That was a funny mess, brothers. I really enjoyed that. And then Pat Bev got traded to the Jazz. Now all that little Pat Bev did, they with the Jazz. You in Utah.
TV
You in Utah.
We talked about that a few weeks ago.
You in Utah. All-Star game this year in Utah? I ain't going.
You got tickets for Salt Lake, JR.
Negative. Stuff closed at 9:00. I'm sorry. I don't see enough sisters that got courage for me to go to Utah.
The thing about that, when I realized it was going to be down in Utah, are you serious? Because you know what goes down at NBA All-Star Weekend, wherever it is, right?
Yes, and I'm not.
But Utah?
Hey, look, in Salt Lake City, stuff closed at 9:00. Trust me, I know.
Yeah.
What they gonna do? There's no clubs that, there's no clubs for people that look like us. What y'all gonna do? Put a tent up and where it's snowing outside and have a block party? No, I'm not going. I will stay home in Atlanta and enjoy me a week off,
right?
And not go out there and be annoyed knowing I can't enjoy myself.
Yeah, it's
Sacramento, Utah, OKC. Not good towns for All-Star games. And Minnesota too. Not good towns for that.
Yeah. And this everybody knows too. Everybody knows. This free agency struggle, those destinations aren't at the top of anybody's list.
No. No.
So yeah.
No. Denver too.
Really?
Yes, it's too cold. Portland. Nobody want to go to Portland. They ain't got to. Nobody trying to be in Portland, Sacramento, OKC, Utah, Minnesota, Memphis is some that people will accept Memphis, but they ain't their first choice. Indiana ain't choice unless you have to go there.
Right.
Milwaukee the same thing.
Right.
Chicago cool because that's a real city. But Canada no. Toronto no because you got to worry about getting a separate account for your money. You're getting taxed twice by Canada and the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody want to go play with the Raptors. Nah, we good on that. The Spurs is like, yeah, we'll go because it's Texas, no income tax. Houston and Dallas is cool, but nah, like the other towns, we good. Cleveland, another one, we good. I'm trying to go there.
Those small-ish, mid-level type Midwest.
Yes.
A lot of them in the Midwest, no disrespect to where you are now, TV. But the cold,
the cold, it's nothing to do at night.
Smaller type cities, which all of them, me being from where I'm from a small town. TV's been where I'm from, it is tiny. So any city is big to me. If you
hey, bro, I've been to your town, bro. I know a girl used to live in your town.
In Kentucky?
The one you live in now.
Oh yeah. Well, where I'm from now, where I'm at now is a lot bigger than where I'm from.
Well, I knew a chick. I knew a chick. She thick as hell. Sorry, excuse my language, but she from your town. I went to school with. I went up there one time in college. I said never again. I'm going up there. Yeah. Never again.
Where I'm from is a couple hours up in Kentucky, and it's teeny tiny. So if you got a pro team, you're a big city to me. Like San Antonio, I know it ain't New York. I've been to New York, been to Boston, but even those quote real cities, the smaller cities, Louisville's a big city to me. It's not New York, it's not Chicago, but this is a big city coming from where I'm from. So if you got it,
I feel that.
So yeah,
Seattle and Vegas are coming too, Vinny. I can't wait to Seattle and Vegas come because I like Seattle when it's not raining. I like Vegas too, so they'll give me somewhere to enjoy myself at too. Mm-hmm. So I look and when that happens, Memphis being in the Eastern Conference between Memphis and Minnesota for that Eastern Conference slot.
The realignment is coming.
Yes, it is. 32 teams, 4 teams in each division.
So it's gonna be 8 divisions.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, well, there's 6 now, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
you don't have to, because you putting 2 out west. You got to move either Memphis or Minnesota to the east.
Mm-hmm. And they right there on the Mississippi, right there on the line.
Yes.
In the middle of the country anyway. As far as if the Mississippi River is the line, they both right there. Minneapolis.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah.
So if it was me, I'm throwing Memphis in the Eastern Conference. Put them with the Bulls, Pacers, and the Bucks, or do it with the Timberwolves too. But I don't know. Minnesota's argument is there ain't nobody close to them in the Western Conference. If you lead them out there, that's what they saying.
What's the closest city to them in the West? Is it
in the West, OKC or Denver? Minnesota's in a bad spot to be in the Western Conference. I ain't gonna lie about that. They gotta fly west all the time or go south. They ain't gonna be very close. If they were in the East, they'll be close to Chicago, Indiana, Toronto, all of them.
Yeah.
Memphis has an argument too. Some between Memphis and Minnesota for that Eastern Conference lot. But they add Vegas and Seattle.
But New Orleans, Memphis. How far is Memphis to New Orleans?
5.5 some hours.
Mm-hmm. And Atlanta and Charlotte and all that.
But see, New Orleans is fits in good with that Southwest, with that Texas team and them. So they ain't gonna mess that up. Because they're gonna prioritize time zones now.
You mentioned Anthony Davis street clothes, and we can't really defend that either. But what do you think about Zion? How you project his coming back to being able to play and
Sean Kemp 2.0? The Cleveland Sean Kemp 2.0?
Yeah, that was.
My man got to lay off the gumbo with crawfish.
That 99 Sean Kemp.
The mouth got he on. You got to get in shape and commit to it.
Yeah, when Kemp came back from the lockout 99, it was woo.
Shocking, man.
Man, look, dude was a balloon.
Yeah.
He never lost it. It was crazy. He never shed that weight. He came back. He never got rid of that weight from the lockout.
No, even to today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, he went from the rain man to the food man.
Yeah.
The wing man, whatever he was, the food truck man, whatever he wasn't the rain man no more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a shock. Sure was. It sure.
Yeah, the David Stern lockout. I remember that I remember that vividly. The David Stern lockout, and that's why I see people, all these Bulls fans. Hey, it ended at the right time. They weren't gonna win out that lockout. I don't care what they would have did. They wouldn't win out that lockout. They were gonna age too much.
TV, man, you talk about it all the time. All the extra miles and wear and tear and trying to sustain it.
The 98 Bulls were on fumes. The 98 Bulls just got by on guile. Like they MacGyvered that whole thing together. And the Jazz too. That was because I saw Draymond talking about, his, I guess the 2016 Warriors would beat the 98 Bulls. Yeah, probably. But that was not the best version of the Bulls that won. They gutted that out, right? Would they have beaten the 96 Bulls? Probably not, because that was a focused team that came out and beat the brakes off everybody. So,
and remember, the Atlanta Hawks had the Bulls down 2-1 in 97. Remember that? It started to slip in 97.
Yeah,
you're right.
Was that the year that Pippen missed all those games? Is that year? I can't.
It was the last year. It was the last year at the Omni for the Hawks, and we had Smith, Boop, Laylock, Leitner, Mutombo, all them dudes. AC Augman. We split in Chicago, won game 3. Thought something gonna happen in game 4. Bulls blew them out and beat them in 6. I remember that vividly. Marv Abber was there with Matt Gukas and all them jokers was there.
Matt Gukas.
I was at the game. I remember.
Man, Matty Gukas. That's a name I hadn't heard him forever.
Hey, after 98 in the NBA changed.
That's right.
The Davis Stern lockout changed the league forever. What did I say about the David Stern lockout?
Yeah, sure did. Sure did.
I will lock you out and take all of your money because I'm David Stern.
Man, what do you think about? I know you're right there in Atlanta. Julio signing a 1-year deal with Tampa. So, the Falcons got to see him twice.
January 8th, he returns to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I'll be there for that. Some way, somehow.
End of the season almost before he comes back.
He might not even play. It's week 18.
Yeah.
If they wrap it up, he might not even play. So he might get to avoid the booing. Because you can go to anybody but the Saints, Panthers, or the Bucks. And especially when you join a dude who cost you a ring.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I guess he's replacing Gronk now.
Absolutely.
Evans, Julio.
God went off of ACL.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You got Sean Kemp, Fournette. Hey, my man going to a sauna to lose weight. That's unhealthy, my man. You can die from that.
Mm-hmm.
You got Keyshawn Vaughn from Vanderbilt. Somehow Vanderbilt is a football player. Somehow. Yeah. Don't know how they did that.
They sneak some guys in there every now and then.
But Javon Hay, my friends. I'm sorry. Shout out to Javon Hay, my friend. Hey, sorry about that.
Javon Hay been on this show. We had him on before we had some Kentucky coaches. He followed me on Twitter one time and I messaged him. He came on the show a few years ago. And
Javon, my guy, man, that's my dude. But I do get back. So I went to Tennessee State. I do give them a hard time, Vanderbilt, because we're faster than they are. Yeah. They all smart Negroes. We're field Negroes. Tennessee State.
There you go. All right.
That's what I tell them all the time.
All right.
He popped on here in game
Kentucky, hey, I ain't gonna lie to y'all brothers. Y'all about bad as Vanderbilt is too, though. But since y'all my guys, I ain't gonna throw it out there though.
Yeah, it's everybody's had still trying to.
Basketball wise, y'all good as hell, but football wise, y'all about Vanderbilt level.
No, they coming up now, man. They coming up. They won 10 games last year, 10 games in 2018. So they
do y'all play at the Commonwealth Stadium? Y'all still play there?
Yeah. Well, Kroger Field, they renamed it.
It's Kroger Field.
Okay. I miss watching on back in the old days, Jefferson Pilot Sports. It was called Commonwealth Stadium.
Yeah. It was
it was, but way back
40-some years. That's what it was. It was called
Commonwealth Stadium. Yes.
Everybody.
So let me ask you this, brothers. It's time for y'all to start fighting.
Yeah.
Because I know one of y'all a 49er fan, the other one of you Cowboy fan, right?
Yo.
And Jimmy G needs to get traded right now. And Mike McCarthy gonna be replaced by Sean Payton. I'm thinking this year is gonna be Dallas gonna be better than San Francisco on GP, just because Trey Lance so young. He played it at Dakota school, whatever he was. But I do think ultimately Tampa, Green Bay, LA going to Super Bowl, and the NFC East is what it is. Sam's y'all gonna be arguing every week, but it's like either one of y'all going nowhere.
Well,
there's nothing to argue about because I still remember the last game played at AT&T Stadium in Dallas. Vinny, do you remember the last game that was played in the playoffs?
I remember the clock running out, and
I do remember that. I laughed my butt off.
The referee jumping in there.
I did.
And it was a mess.
Now. JR, to be clear, I've never been a big Jimmy G fan. Vinny will tell you.
Okay.
I've been very honest about that dude. I've never tried to talk myself into it. Ever since he threw that interception with his eyes closed in the Super Bowl, I was like, okay, that dude doesn't have it. But I found it hilarious that even with Jimmy G beating Dallas at Dallas, beating Green Bay at Green Bay, that just warms my heart. It just warms my heart.
Yes, it does. Hey, I feel you. See, I'm a football indifferent fan. I'm indifferent to football, so I'm not moving either way. Same with basketball too. I'm gonna be honest with you. Though I cover the Hawks and do with the Hawks, I ain't a Hawks fan. I'm indifferent to it. So same with the Braves too. Like I'm here, but I'm not. You're never gonna see me just be like, oh, I'm a Brave and I'm a. Nah,
Yeah.
I'm about money and checks. Who paying me?
You got the good setup too. Got the show, got the media coverage. You doing your thing down there, man.
Hey, look here. Y'all gotta come to Atlanta, man. Both of y'all. Hey, TB. How far you from Indianapolis, bro?
From Indianapolis, I am. It's about 7 hours.
Oh, see.
Wow.
Are you close to Chicago? What? I'm trying to figure out
Yes,
get to where I come to.
Yeah, the Chicago's a whole lot closer. Yeah, so Chicago we can get to maybe about 4. We're 3.5 or so from Minneapolis, about 3 from Kansas City. So where we sit in Iowa, we're about 3 hours from everything.
Okay, I only been to Des Moines once in my life, but yeah, you gotta come catch me on the road somewhere. Benny, you used to come to Atlanta. Come down 75, Benny. Bring the family.
I'm gonna do that.
And to see Atlanta Hawks show, I might, if it's gonna be a show, I don't know if you're gonna get a show now. Because our arena entertainment is very entertaining.
I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna come down there.
Hope you and your wife can get on Kiss Cam as well.
It's been a minute. We've been to Phillips. It was a long time ago, Phillips, man. It was the Hawks. They were terrible. They were playing the Clippers. This is how long ago it was. Lamar Odom was with the Clippers. That's how long ago.
Yeah.
That was
long time ago. Yeah, now with State Farm, it's been reconfigured now. The old Omni, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I need to go, man. I need to get you to introduce me to my man Neat, man. If he's there, gotta get you to let me meet my guy, man. If he's there calling the game, he'll take
a picture with you. He'll take a picture with you. He'll be like, he loves doing pictures.
Yeah, I gotta get there.
He might not sign nothing for you, but he will take a picture with you.
I'm not an autograph type guy. I ain't never been one that's got to have an autograph, but I run up there to a Hawks game and get to meet you, and then just go say what's up to my guy Neek. And I ain't trying to.
Yeah, I can make. Hey, if you come early, I can make it happen. The doors open up at 6 o'clock for 7:30 game. The earlier you come, I can find Neek for you. The later it gets, he ain't gonna be good there if we get on TV about rapping.
Right.
On Valley Sports Southeast.
Yeah, he got to do his thing. Yeah, he got to provide insight.
Before you wrap up, do you get Hawks games or Grizzly games, or you get Hornet games, or you get Pacers games? Which one do you get?
It's usually Hawks and some Grizzlies, but I definitely get the everything Atlanta, and sometimes you get that Southwest and get some Memphis and the Reds and stuff like that.
Because I get Hawks, Hornets, and Grizzlies here.
Yeah, we get Minnesota and Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you get Stacy. So you are you getting Comcast Sports Chicago and then Valley Sports North?
Yeah, that's what we're getting up here. Now, Major League Baseball, you can't get anything in Iowa, but the NBA, you can at least see those teams.
Yeah. So Iowa should get them up. You in a weird spot. Because I'm in Nebraska too. Yeah, y'all. It depends. We're gonna get OKC, Denver, or Minnesota in Nebraska.
Mm.
Yeah.
If you don't have an NBA team in your state, it's tricky. You might get all teams in there with the touch of the state. Like I know in Lexington, you can get Indiana, Memphis, and the Hawks in Lexington.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, and the Midwest is so spread out. Even now, I mean, still more than you realize.
Yes, like Virginia is all the Wizards. Nothing, but Virginia's all Wizards. Mm-hmm. Even the part of Tennessee is Wizards.
Yeah. It touched Southwest Virginia. I grew up across the mountain from there.
Bristol, Virginia. It's funny. And Bristol, Tennessee gets the Hawks and the Grizzlies, right? But Bristol, Virginia gets only the Wizards.
Yeah, and Bristol is like Kansas City. Part of the city is in Virginia, part of it in Tennessee. But it's
funny how the imaginary line that we can't see, they make it where you don't get this.
Yeah.
It blows my mind knowing that people in Bristol, Virginia don't get Hawks games. Blows my mind.
Go down State Street in Bristol, depending on what side you're on. That's what you're gonna get. Sure,
yes, indeed. My brother, hey, TB rocking his visor proudly, Vinny. Where's your visor that had that, man? He's rocking his visor proudly for Cats Talk.
He did. I came with the.
I had someone tell me, "Oh, you got the BS3."
Yeah,
There you go.
I came with BS3.
Hey, he's the boss. So, hey, shout out to Ben. He's the boss. So, Vinny, you're doing okay. I'll take that back. Vinny, you're doing correctly. TB's represent for the Cats. So, you're covered.
Yeah. Oh, Ben's good people, man. Ben's good people. So every now and then, I bring the BS3 out, but usually I got Kentucky stuff on too, or Rockets or Cowboys, just depending. Even though my Rockets got a long way to go, it's rebuild mode for years, but that's all right.
Hey, the Hawks just got a rebuild mode. Hey, don't feel bad.
That's it.
Just don't oversign people. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Shout out to my man Silas though. He doing big thing, and John Lucas too. Shout out to him.
Yeah. I like Steven. He everything changed the minute he took that job. It wasn't what he signed up for, but he's still trying to.
Yes,
I appreciate him. I appreciate what he's trying to do. So we'll see what these do.
No
Tata's
doubt.
down there, Eason and Jabari. I watched some of those summer league, and they just got to get experience and hopefully stay together and do something before they all go their separate ways in free agency.
Yeah, because hey, look, OKC the big experiment though. All them young dudes on their roster at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Big experiment.
Yep.
We gonna see. I hope that Tillman Fertitta lets Steven see it through.
Right. That
usually they hire a brother to take all the L's, then fire him and hire somebody else.
That remains to be seen.
That's the game, typically in the NBA. I called it out. That's the game. Yes, that's what happens. So I'm praying for Steven's out. He's a good brother. I like that brother.
Yeah,
and I was Mosley in Orlando. I'm praying for the brother. And they were taking teams. Usually you take all the L's and then you get fired. You back to being an assistant.
Yeah, it was. It everything changed the minute he took that job. So it wasn't the team he thought it was going to be. Wasn't nothing what he thought he was walking into. So we're just working with and rolling with the punches now. So
no doubt, brothers, no doubt. Well, we're gonna watch and see. Good, go. The Rockets are cool with me, man. I like them. Steven, they coach. I like them.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you cool with us, man? We appreciate you hopping on. Glad you're feeling better. Always fun to chop it up with you. See where
my voice ain't all the way back, Benny. I'm trying my best. My voice ain't what it used to be, but I'm working to get there, man. Glad I can have some fun with you, entertain you guys, have some fun with you tonight, man. Thanks for having me anytime, brothers. Even though y'all I like Vanderbilt and football, I still love y'all, brothers.
Just watch this year. Watch it this year. I ain't gonna argue. Just watch the standings in the SEC this year and see where we are.
Go Cats, go!
If we at the bottom, I'll say you was right. But when you see us winning 10 or 11, you'll be like, "Oh."
I'm gonna be honest, Benny. That's the old Cats. I'm wrong for that. That's pre-Mark Stoops. Okay.
There you go.
Oh, but I'm just saying, in the past.
Oh no, yeah, in the past,
it was like
Vanderbilt
bad back in the past. So
you're right.
Nah, I'm wrong. I shouldn't be throwing those kind of bullets at y'all. I'm just having fun.
Why you gotta bring up old stuff? See, why you gotta bring up old 1990s in the early 2000s? No, they were bad. We can't.
That's what I grew up on, watching on Saturdays on Jefferson Power Sports. Kentucky's always down in lower the standings. That's what I grew up on.
You're right. But they change the perceptions, man. We gonna see when they win.
Kroger, I got it there. Kroger Field now, not Commonwealth Stadium. Kroger Field now. I got it now.
Kroger Field.
I didn't realize that until just you told me.
You got it. Appreciate you, bro.
Hey, see y'all guys. Y'all be safe, man. I love it always, brothers.
All right.
Yes, sir.
See y'all.
They are the boss, man. Follow him right there. Scrolling. And appreciate JR and Coach Keith Madison coming on. Appreciate you coming in, working late, and still hopping on and bringing knowledge like you do, man, each and every week.
Always, man.
Another week closer to football next week, and we'll see what our prediction looks like. We both got 11-1 because shoot your shot. They got the team in place. They can go out and do it. So,
yeah, absolutely. So let's do it.
That's right. Y'all can watch it on Roku. Thanks to BS3 Network. Listen on Anchor, wherever you get your podcast. This episode will be right there. And for Terry, this is Vinny. And we'll see everybody next week, man. Another episode of Cats Talk Wednesday. And I will hit that little outro button. Appreciate y'all watching. Catch you next week, TV.
Yes, sir.